Yeah, we're going to continue on with some Spelljammer art production today. Give me a second here to check my signal, make sure we're kicking live. And looks like it. My signal, make sure we're kicking live. Yeah, there we are. Excellent. All right, cool. So I'm just going to punch my signal here for a second, and then we'll get into this for a couple hours. My name is Phil. Hey, I create 5e content that I publish on the DMsGuild. There is a link to a slew of my work down in the description down below. Anything that I publish is 100% preview, so you can read the whole thing, decide for yourself if it's something that you want to explore further. If you do, please consider making a purchase. There's about 120 illustrations between the books that I have linked down below, and it takes a lot of time and a lot of efforts and a lot of investments and energy to be able to create the content, lay it out, create the artwork, put it up, maintain it, update it when we find mistakes. The purchase goes towards better and more content in the future, so please consider. Also, please consider subscribing, liking, hitting the bell, and keeping up with us. We'll do this for about 2 hours this morning, like we do every morning, except for Sunday morning. We have the day off. Monday and Thursday nights we often stream as well, and then Monday lunchtime we stream development and mechanics, the Marshall Powers Monday lunch stream. So if you want to keep up on what's going on, follow me on Twitter at Phil Kearney. Check out the books I have down below to see the kind of work that I produce, to see if you want to just see where I'm heading next. And definitely tune in with me on Saturday for the initial layouts for the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration book that we are working on right now. So I'm going to let's see, get this out of the way, and we posted on Twitter already. And so like, subscribe, hit the bell, best way to support the channel, and it is deeply appreciated. We built this like around, I think episode like around 15 or so. Yeah, there we go. So this is the book cover. When it publishes, it'll be about that big on screen on the ribbon of other things. I think it has enough punch going on there that it's compelling. I think I need more highlights on these tentacles, honestly. I think that'll help. And like if I get this color to fuse a little bit more with this here, I think it'll, and then like do a fade in. I think that, honestly, I think I could improve it that way. That's what's the nice thing about doing the cover first and then everything else secondary, because it's off my plate of something to stress out about, so I'm not hating the painting to be the last thing done. But it also, if I just let it sit for a while, it can talk to me and it's like, hey, I'd like a little bit more contrast on these tentacles. I'm like, okay, guy, let's be that person. But right now, the person we're going to be is a token maker. So we're making tokens. The last time we were here, we were creating the lunar dragon and the megapede. Megapede's looking, it's literally looking sketch right now. But I don't question its integrity, it's just, it's not done. So instead, we're going to, checking my stuff here real quick, because my brain told me to. Oh, that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to turn on a timer. 6:13 here in Seattle. I went to bed earlier, got up earlier. Didn't manage to get on stream by 6 yet, so there's still some recalibration to happen. Man, we're looking good. So let's do... yeah, there's a black and white. There's a color. Let's just do... okay, so if you're colorblind, you can't just look at a picture, know what color it is, and then come over here and tap the RGB. Even if I was capable of seeing color, a smart workflow would just be to zoom in on and grab a color reference off of the source material that you're working with. It just happens that I know it's blue because the RGB slider up here in the corner is showing us less red and green than blue, so that's telling us, you know, it's like off blue. But specifically, I couldn't tell you what it is. I know that like this is purple, like a horrible example of purple, but purple nonetheless, and that this is yellowish. Here's your blue, here's your red, obviously here's your green. I'm not sure exactly what color that actually is, but I'm doing some color sampling here, just to basically trace the eyedropper tool to the color sampler across here, just to try to get a sense of what it is that we're looking at. I don't need to actually see the color as long as I can trust the source content and use the RGB slider to let me know where we're at with what we're doing. There's a very strong blue theme going on here. Even the rock is blue. What is going on with you, Reggae Junkie Juke? Alright, well, it's blue. Abadi abada. Let's find a base color, a middle ground. So we have this as a highlight. Right? Oh god, how high is that light? Okay, cool. And we have this as a dark. Notice how the spectrum here, like the contrast. I mean, these two colors have a lot of contrast, but the difference in R, G, and B here in the shadow is only slightly less. Is only a little more tightly bundled than what we have here as the highlight. But like it's interesting that the further we fade into the background, the wider the difference in RGB gets. It becomes a more separated color than the up front. That's just interesting to me. That's a color theory thing that I don't. I guess the dragon is popping out for the visual people because it has it pulls my eye because there's more contrast in the center of the image, right? That you get the heavy dark shadows right next to the bright highlights, next to the very bright eggs, and everything else just sort of washes out, and then in my eye grays out because this here and this here, look, they're almost the same colors. So the difference in contrast and then difference in the color are so muted that it on both fronts is going to push that part further into the background. But at the same time, the color palette tightens in the front, but with more radical black white. That's a really interesting case study. It's interesting. Anyway, I'm geeking over the math. So let's just get to work. I can geek out about that more later. So it's blue. The whole thing is blue. So Abudi Abuda. I can probably afford to just blanket the thing and potentially operate from there. So let's just start with that, and we know how dark these wings can get, and we can see how light they can get. So let's just use that as a starting spot, and just do what we know we do. Do what we know how to do, and maybe that's a better way of. No, I think I want to leave that black outline. Yeah, it ain't hurting anybody to have the black outline. Okay, cool. So let's, I guess we gotta start making a mess. That is the wrong color, my sir. There we go. I'm gonna start off just like ish-ish, you know? I think I just want to do some. I can do like this. I can put all this in here, and then I can fade this to a lighter color. It's raining here in Seattle. It's in the January, February, March. It always rains a lot in the morning, and depending on the weather, it can be freezing rain. It can be snow. This is the time of the year, the typical time of the year, the only time in the year typically that we get snow, except for recent weather pattern changes that are dragging cold down from Alaska through Canada, is giving us a colder snaps in like November, December that we used to used to not get. So that's a change that I don't think our forests are going to... We have a rainforest, for God's sake. We aren't used to getting a lot of snow. I think we're getting more than the system is used to. I'm not sure how it's going to adapt to that, but I don't know. We'll see, I guess. Yeah, we can manipulate light. Ooh, too much. Let's drop that down. There we go. Man, I am excited about Saturday. It's going to be fun. I don't know how it's going to go. Starting up the... What are you all about, buddy? There's a little nib over here. Let me get rid of it. Well, I still can. Cool. But yeah, so we're going to do... we're going to start doing the layouts for this book on Saturday. We're going to just drag it from the Google Doc and drop it into Word, and then start manipulating the text to see how stuff fits. It'll be real exploratory, just basically pushing text around, seeing what kind of hierarchy we want for like headers, subheaders, etc. And I do a lot of that stuff manually. I know that I could easily build a table of content by establishing different headers and then using those headers to feed into a table of content. But I honestly like building it by hand because it helps me make sure I like how things are reading while I build it out. So I think most Affinity and InDesign users are going to probably end up cringing at that stream. But it's super... I mean, a lot of people have a license to MS Word. It's super easy for people. It makes it really approachable. All the stuff that I have in my DMsGuild down below, that's all made with Word. So Word and then Photoshop. I only just realized this week that I can create an image watermark as a background texture or background color. I used to make text boxes for each individual page in Word, and then manually drop in illustrations as background art for everything. And so I made my data file, like the data files that I have, significantly larger than they need to be. So this is going to be a great opportunity for me just to be better in general. So it's already going to be a better project than other things I've done. It's the biggest book that I've soloed, and it's a big lift. So I am looking forward to seeing how it pans out. I'm going to just do this for now, and then we can paint over the skeletal structure. Right now I'm just doing, I don't know, this is just what I'm doing. Muse knows what she wants. It's my job to give it to her. Ooh. I think that can be something more like maybe like this. I'm not sure how that joint is supposed to interact. I'll just know what my gut wants. So we'll do like this for now. Dragons to me kind of just feel like winged cats with scales. Like, dragons just feel very feline to me. and that they're intelligent, playful predators, capable of anything, including just horrible cruelty. Do that for now. Really don't have to break my neck over this. I just want to make sure I do it right, you know? Once we get the general language of the thing built out, then we'll... I think I kind of want a tilt going on with this guy. Like I've been... Like since this arm in this interior space is completely undefined, like this arm is established as you know, as in the silhouette, so I know where that's supposed to be, and it feels balanced for it to be there. But that also means I can do, like, I can have its structural, like its skeletal frame more like this. And then this leg more like this. So it's got this bend going on. And it bends like that. Like that's the curve that I think I'm looking for here. Yeah, something like that. So that allows me to grab this, pick this up, cut, paste, and then I can start manipulating over here. These are fun to do, man. If you're looking to get better at art in general, and like if you're a starter still and you're like trying to figure out how to do and where to go, honestly, taking a silhouette like this. And then coloring it in so that you can start seeing how anatomy sits inside of stuff. If I were to say get rid of that, right? This could technically be the back of the dragon going down like this. The wing here, right? And then you got the curvature of the dragon like this. And then you have this wing in the background like that. And then this is the one that fades out. And this is the foreground. And then you have this as when it's just a silhouette, you can do it either way. Right? That could either be facing towards you, or it could be facing away from you. And isn't that just interesting? That that when you start with a silhouette, that the silhouette itself doesn't honestly care which direction it's facing. It just wants to be. I honestly think that that facing away is the stronger composition. But I don't think. Oh, boy, I'm sorely tempted by it. You know, but I just don't think kind of like super compelled by this right now. Phew, totally legit idea. Don't think I'm going to pull the trigger on it though. Think I'm going to stay with foreground. We'll see. something like that. I really like that negative space. It's fun. It's fun, fun, fun. And I can drop the opacity on this, like the this, to make it fade out a little bit more if I wanted to. But now I'm just doing this. Oh yeah, hold on. Some big nothing burger there. Probably means I need to thin that down a little bit. I'm going to end up thinning that tail down. I can tell. Yeah. If you're checking out the stream, hey, thanks for being here. Yeah, we do this Monday through Saturday, and we rotate in the mornings. 1 week we do Eberron, the next week, like this week, we do Spelljammer, and then we flip it, so it flips from week to week, and then in the evenings, Mondays and Thursday evenings, we do the other. So this week we've been doing Spelljammer in the mornings and Eberron at nights. Next week we'll do Eberron in the morning and switch to Spelljammer at night. And Spelljammer again is going into page layouts this weekend, so like and subscribe to get a notification on Saturday that we've gone live and that we're going through that process. And this will be the first time that I've started with a raw text manuscript and began the conversion project, the conversion into layouts as part of stream. So that'll be a big thing for me. Hey, timely timer. So hopefully it goes well. I'll have to tune in to find out if I make a fool of myself or not, and it's part of the learning curve. So cheers. Do not mind making mistakes, because we have the ability. That's the great thing about PDFs, is you can just go back and you can fix them. So far, so good. Let's do some highlights. Yeah. Tell me if the music is too loud in comparison to my voice. I mean, I think it's loud. I think it's loud enough that it can be enjoyable if I'm not actually, yammering on about something. But I don't think it gets in the way of hearing me if I'm making if I'm making face noise. So if anyone finds that is not true, where are we at? We're at what, a 25? Yeah, I typically have it balance out at 25 here. So I have not yet heard anyone make any complaint about the sound mix, but that could always change. And I think I've been pretty pleased with how it sounds when I'm doing playback stuff. But audience feedback matters, though. So if you got anything to say, this is the place to say it. Hey. Be able to bend this down like that. Something like that. So far, so good. So what? Just gonna merge those down for the funs of it. Like that. That. Hoss. Those Hoss limbs. It's a big old beefcake. What are you getting into every day that just lets you get so freaking ripped? You're huge. What are you lifting? doing burpees with like 80-ton weights. Something like that. Yeah, so far so good. Yeah, everything's running A-okay. How's my timer doing? 10 minutes left? That's cool. Let's see. All right, well, I guess it's just, you know, more of the same. I wish there was more color variety in here. Ironically, I would say. Make that stuff work. Yeah, lighting here's a little wonky. I need to just fret on it here for another minute or four. Get it doing what I want it to do. Something like that. Boom. I'll stop cursing you with my singing. I just like singing along with these songs. I've been listening to them forever. Let's grab a darker bit. I think I'm ready for darker. Darkness. We'll wait for that intricate lighting later once I get the form better defined. We're getting there. Yeah, let's not do that. be bold and merge that down. Just I guess challenge ourselves. That was probably a mistake to merge those down. How do I? Make it timely timer. Keep it going. Thanks, Sonatica. It's good to see you, my man. Yeah, we're coming along. This is definitely my preferred style of dragon. I'm not nearly as much a fan of the serpentine sort of like Chinese dragon sort of look that the solar dragon had. It's this is just a much beefier. It's just the anatomy is so much more like the arms are a lot more humanistic in style, and it just feels much more feline, which I was talking about earlier. I just like how cat-like dragons. This type of dragon is. Like felines just feel like apex predators to me. You give them wings, scales and a breath weapon, and suddenly Miss Kitty becomes really frickin' dangerous. So I like that. It's my fave. Start laying in language like that, just some texture-y stuff. It is a token, and this is not very high resolution at that, so I don't have to really I don't really have to murder myself on the details too much. But there's no sense not using good anatomy if I can produce it. So here I am, tryharding. I don't want to overdo it, but I don't want to underrepresent the anatomy. So I'm trying to find a decent middle ground where I can get the musculature that I want without having to just absolutely deep dive into accurate, like deep detail accuracy. I just don't think it serves the project overall. God, I like how that's layering in though. Really, really liking that. It's pretty good. Not bad. Probably content with that. At least for now, anyway. Until my muse starts shouting at me about that anatomy. It'll pull my eye towards it if it wants me to. And then build up the shoulder here. Probably gonna have to change the silhouette a little bit as the anatomy gets more defined. I'm okay with. Shout out to my boy. My boy Cletus. He died a number of years ago. I keep his ashes next to my computer. He used to rest his head on my shoulder when I would paint, or not my shoulder, but he would rest his head on my elbow because my elbow would stay still while I'm drawing. So he'd lay here I used to have a couch here that was the perfect height that would line up with my arm. So he could lay on the couch and then put his head on my elbow. So while I was moving my arm, it was like I was stroking his cheek. So he'd just sit there and he'd purr on my elbow and sleep while I painted. I loved that boy. He was so adorable. He lived a good 20 years. He died in a cat hotel while we were on a cruise to Canada in Alaska. And it took me a long time to not feel guilty. He had diabetes and some sort of I don't know exactly. He had something else going on. His kidneys were failing, and while we were away, he had a seizure in the middle of the night. And the care worker said that she heard the disturbance and she came in. She found the cat. He was he was having some sort of a seizure fit, and he started frothing, and then he just died. And so we found out about it while we were out on vacation, and I felt so just guilt-ridden. It was horrible. He was such a good boy. Anyway, the thought there was the reason that came up was because I was just thinking in my head about how much I think these types of dragons look like cats with wings, which made me think of dragons are cats that graduate from the mortal school. And their angelic form is a dragon. So whenever a dragon is born, it's because a cat did a really, really good job. Sorry, sometimes I get emotional on these things. Like the carpet dragon myth, the cats, yes. Yes, the carpet dragon makes sense for the more serpent-looking dragon, Chinese dragon style. But these beefier Americanized dragons are definitely cats. We had 2 Siamese cats too. So we had the boy. He was just a black American cat. And then there was 2 sisters that were Siamese cats. And when he died, those 2 girls just became absolute terrors. We never realized how much Cletus would manage them. You know, like kept them in line. He really was the it was his pride. You know, it was like his cats. It was his pack, whatever it is, pride. And we didn't really realize that until he was gone, and the girls were just so unruly. He would bully them occasionally, and we just didn't realize that he was just actually trying to keep them in check. It was fascinating to see that. It's like, God, you girls are just unreasonable. Damn it, Cletus, where'd you go? There we go. House cats in a group are actually called a clouder. What? A clouder? Thanks for the factoid, man. That's weird. I'm too dehydrated for the amount of coffee that I want to drink right now. It's a mild problem. Yeah, I need to change that anatomy. I'll get to it. Not quite there yet. I'm gonna define this a bit more. Clutter. Huh. Okay. Fascinating. I gotta say though, I think my favorites is Murder of Crows and A Grumble of Pugs. Because if you've ever spent time with a pug, grumble is like just like such an accurate term. Such an accurate word. A conspiracy. Conspiracy is a pretty good one. I'm going to scoop this over a little bit, like that. There we go. That's just awesome. Yeah, it's creative stuff. I don't know how accurate. I don't know. I can't recall any samples here, but I mean, you know, if you get like a listicle of you know, weird group names for animals, I don't think I have a reason to question the legitimacy of the article. But I seem to recall looking at more than a few of them sidelong, but I can't recall any specific examples. So that's just me making noise. Let's see that guy's face again real quick to make sure that. Yeah, okay. Do like that. Oh, hey man! Congrats on finishing the game console joystick decal. Turned out great. Something like that. Hey, timely timer. Pleased with how the art came out. Planning on building a second arcade stick with extra buttons for playing PFS games sometime in the future, so maybe I'll do more for that. Yeah, absolutely, man. Do whatever the muse wants. She always has a higher perspective. See what's coming down the pipe before it gets there. They got a higher viewpoint, higher vantage. I want to get this angle going on like this. There's sort of twist going on in here. Bar. Wrong button, Kearney. There we go. I feel like I want to thin this tail down a little bit. Like that. Little cat feeties. They're little feeties. I love tormenting their little feeties. It's so fun. The girls had, because the girls had like the little white, had like white socks, and then they had dark, like fingerless gloves that like went up their legs. It was gorgeous. Siamese cats are just a gorgeous markings. You know, the more this dragon gets drawn, the more I notice just how defined its biceps are. Like, seriously, it's got cannons for front legs. Absolutely, man. Dragons are hoss. Like, super serial hoss. Like, this guy is just pressing asteroids around its home, like, all the time. Like, Mr. Incredible style. But I mean, you know, how else are you gonna get a 32 strength, right? You gotta have lift. You gotta have lift, son. I gotta grab more coffee. I'm gonna BRB. But yeah, it's yeah, super buff dragons, man. I never got into, but conceptually was a big fan of Council of Worms. Like the idea of dragons using weapons and art. Like, if you don't know, sorry, Council of Worms. If you don't know Council of Worms, that was a I want to say it was second. Was it second edition originally? Maybe it was third. God, it's so sketchy now. I think it was second edition originally, where your characters were dragons, right? And the narrative was like, you know, like these, you know, colossal dragons that were running around with like armor and swords and stuff that were just basically like really big player characters, and just I don't think the narrative flavor was ever really a lock, because the idea of like dragons needing swords, like creating armor and stuff, was kind of silly. They're all just kind of, you know, pre-built to be monster, like just destructive tanks, so they don't really need gear. So I think that's why it didn't really take off. But it was here, I'll take the minute to check it out. Hey, we got a lurker hanging out with us. Welcome, lurker. You are most welcome here. Let's look up Council of Worms D&D. There it is. This is the Council of Worms. Oh no, he's not wearing armor. That's I'm not remembering it correctly. It's just but they had all sorts of AD&D second edition, yo, deluxe box set. Never got into that one, but it's a neat idea. I mean, Dark Sun kind of leaned into that idea too, because like you could, if you were, you know, if you advanced far enough as a mortal, you would you know, if you wanted to go the Defiler path, you could end up becoming a dragon. But that, you know, that just had you starting off as one, so it was cool. It was a neat idea. But the idea of human musculature kind of locked in a little bit more for me during all that stuff, and then I started really paying attention. It's like, yeah, this is actually like really feline anatomy. Here. You can totally see claw weapons or magic greens. So yeah, absolutely. That's I think that's a place where like enchantments. Like I'll be doing this on Monday when we do martial powers Monday. I'll have a good. I don't work on Monday, so I'll be able to work on all three of the projects with a little more time than I would normally allocate to them. And for the past few weeks, we with martial powers, we've been adding the power kits to different creatures, and what we have on our plate for Monday is it was originally just going to be the Beholder, but now that I don't have we just have February 20th is just a holiday that my day job takes off. It's just a self-created holiday just to give us something, an excuse not to go into work in February, because there's a long stretch from January to July. I would have liked to have been in March, but they decided to go with February instead. But yeah, so the 20th is I have off, so instead I'll have more time for my lunch stream than I would normally have on a Monday. So the two creatures I have left as, like, you know, samples of adding of kits of power is the Beholder, and then a red dragon, an adult red dragon. So we'll be able to when we go in, we'll be able to build, like, you know, give them a per encounter or per day or per rest resource that they can use, that we can have sustained powers, so that they can maintain an aura that gives them added benefits beyond what their own abilities normally are. Like the Beholder, we may end up going like with different reactions, and but all their attacks are I-beams, so giving them strikes doesn't make any sense, but like giving them exploits, reactions, maneuvers, and sustained powers makes sense. But dragons obviously can make use of strikes as well, so we should be able to have like the full gamut of like how terrible can we make creatures using this power system that we've been developing. And then if we get through that and we still have a little bit of time left over, we may be able to start building out unique gear. Work on the magic item table a little bit more. Yeah, this is coming along. I'm gonna buff out this arm a little bit more. Like that. So if you're new to the stream, I do this pretty much every morning, Mondays through Saturdays, and then we have the Martial Powers lunch each week on Monday, and then we have typically Mondays and Thursday evenings we stream something, and we bounce back and forth between Eberron Adventure Design, Spelljammer supplement, and then the Martial Powers. And then as one project drops, gets completed, we move on to the next project, and just keep cycling through things, keep pushing things forward on the workbench. Get done, get it off the plate, put a new thing on the plate, get it done, get it off the plate, new thing. Just keep cycling through the projects that we're working on. So that is how we do. Get this going on in here. Is the Hornetico, you're around? Is the music balance that I have, background music versus the volume of my microphone, is that balanced well? I know that when I listen to it, you can hear the music pretty clearly. It doesn't sound like it's getting in the way of hearing me. I just don't know if there's just too much stimulation. Like if I should push down the volume of the music so it doesn't have the same weight that it has against the conversation. You know, I don't know. This is something I've been thinking about, and I want to be happy with it as it is, because I do have, you know, droughts of conversation that I think the music fills the space well, and I don't want to have to mess around with the volume control or not. But I also don't want to make any assumptions that there's so many different opinions about like sound and like background noise and stuff like that. Never prevents your voice from being from coming through, and when you speak, it's always clearer than the back. Well, then I can't really complain about that. Thanks for the head check, man. I really appreciate it. Yes. That. No, not quite like that. Okay, maybe that tail is accurate. It feels a bit bulky. I don't know. Maybe it's not. The great debate of our time. Holy crap, this is fun. Doing some layouts for the short one-shot pre-written I'm doing. Oh, hey, fantastic, man. Trying to get it figured out so I can move on to doing art assets. I'm on board with you, my dude. Congrats on moving forward on that, too. I know that you've been working on it for, like, a couple months. I'm hoping once the Eberron adventure is done, I'll be able to glean some knowledge from its production, because it's a big piece, a very, very big project, and I want to be able to create more adventure content, but I don't want it to be such a massive lift in the future. I mean, I think the Spelljammer conversion we have for Aladdin Zaraxis with the combat and exploration book that we're doing here, I think it has all those little like conversion encounters that are significant. They're just, you know, like side quest encounter stuff. It's I think that for me anyway, it's good indication that I can actually build down in scale to something more reasonable. Come on, dog. To be able to produce more quickly. Yeah, I think I'm close to getting ready. It might not take might take a few more inspiration blasts for me working rapid fire through the night before the writing portion is done. Yeah, man. Right on. Looking forward to seeing what you produce. That's feeling pretty good so far. Obviously, I have more work to do, but it's certainly. Where are we at? 7:30 right now. Got another 20 minutes. I also know the cover art, which I did first. Definitely needs redoing. Thankfully, I think yeah, I've got a good idea of what went wrong. Hey, that's fantastic, man. Yeah, that absolutely. I couldn't imagine having to argue with the cover painting and have the entire thing finished, and just that's the only thing that's keeping you from being able to publish. God, this is a horrible feeling. Suck. Well, this is obvious. I've got like 20 minutes left, so this is obviously not going to be done. Hey, timely timer. Thank you for keeping time. That's okay. See how my foreshortening skills work. I suspect I will be. No, that is not working at all. I think I'm going to have to really consider the foreshortening that I have here. Like, that angle is wrong. Like, this should be more like this, like shoulder like that. That, there. Like, that's the angle that we should have, which I'm actually really happy with that. It's just that this wing is off. It is off. It needs to be more like over like this. So we'll have to fix that. I feel up to the challenge. It is a challenge, though. So let's just do this. Let's cut it out like this. Boom. So let's see. Bum, bum, bum. Kind of like that, but not so big. But it's definitely more like this. Like that is a more accurate foreshortening. But that also means that this is like pushing off the page like towards my nose. So that is a minor problem. It'd be more like this. But I gotta figure out how to frickin' blarb. What is this thing called? Hold on. Let's just call you trash instead. 'Cause that's what you are. You are trash. There. Ugh, not happy, Bob. Not happy about how much space is being created inside of here. It's not what I wanted. I wanted to... I want these things to fit inside of squares like this. I mean, because of how spacing works in the game. Fuck. Like, this is probably the size that I actually need to have this thing. Feels a little too extended. Maybe I can pull that off like that. It's just a lot. It's not filling the space like I want it to, you know? I don't know. I mean, the solar dragon, I clipped its wings off of the... Like, I could potentially oversize it like this for the token and just have the actual image overextended so I have the extra space. And then just have it like this as a token. I don't think that's horrible. I don't think it's a horrible idea. And then like the actual, and just have like the full the overextended view, have that available as well. I don't hate it. I can probably get away with that. I like having the full wingspan there. Considering. Barf, barf. I mean, just enough is enough. Okay, I think I can be happy with that. I think that's going to be okay. We got 15 minutes left. Man, this thing's coming along really nicely. All right, let's just play around for a little bit. I don't want to do anything too serious right now. It's almost out of time. So I'm gonna mess around with this in here. So we're going to come back and we're going to work on this on Monday night. Monday morning we'll be working on the Eberron underground laboratory map, and that'll be our focus in the mornings for the following week. Get the layouts going for Spelljammer on Saturday. And then Monday night, work on the tokens some more. I still have the asteroid map to finish as well. So I'll end up working as soon as I want to get these tokens done. I've still got 10 ship tokens to complete, and then I also have the fighter craft to do tokens for, as well as deck plans for. So I've got a crap load of work on my plate. These are not. I could skip all that stuff, but it wouldn't be a very complete product if I did. So if I'm going to introduce alternate scaling mechanics, I need to be providing tokens that operate inside those scales. Otherwise, it's a neat idea, but I didn't follow through, right? So providing the assets is an important part of the follow through on introducing these things. So it's something that I have to pay attention to. I don't have to, boy, I don't have to go much further though with this stuff. This'll, once I figure out this back wing, I think I only have like maybe an hour or so of work I'll actually need to complete. I can probably change the angle on this a little bit. Get that foreshortening in. That feels pretty good. Yeah, exactly. So it's a heavy lift, but I mean that's the difference between just cracking out, you know, some quick mechanics of like changing second edition mechanics into skill checks instead of the percentile system that they use or whatever. There's God knows how many people have come to market with, you know, I'm not going to call them half-baked ideas, but it's, you know, what are you actually trying to achieve? God damn, that looks cool. I kind of like that because we have this underpinning color here, but with this much detail coming in, I can clean up the line art up here. I like how that looks. Unrealized potential ideas would be more accurate. Thank you. Yeah, that does look pretty sick. Fuck. Yeah, we're gonna have to. Yeah, we can clean up the highlight over here on this hand. I can leave this part darkened. That means I can probably black out a lot of this back wing here as well, having the highlights here and just fade out into black here. That's kind of sick. I love happy accidents like that, man. Thank you, Muse, because that is freaking cool. It's not, obviously it's not done yet, but this is a cool path to take. So let's mince on that for a few minutes now that I'm inspired. Do like this. Oh yeah, God, this is folding together. Ah! God, this is just so cool. Just so cool. I'm gonna paint over this. Actually, I'm gonna paint under it. So cool. I am not trying to shit on anybody that took second edition rules and did that translation process into 5e. It literally took us like a year to be able to develop. I mean, we were already developing vehicle mechanics for Descent into Avernus, but between DIA and Spelljammer, it has literally been a year of us building out these vehicle mechanics, and that is a much heavier lift than I would expect 98% of the market to even attempt to do. It's just that's kind of like what I do. So it's not unreasonable for me to devote ridiculous amounts of time to build an effective system that actually works with 5e as intended. That's my whole shtick. So I am absolutely willing to put in the effort, but there's a lot of content producers like, this needs more flesh. We have stuff from second edition that actually worked. This needs to be modernized, and you know, it's not wrong to follow that approach, especially if you're nostalgic for that stuff. Like, if your whole reason for wanting to get into Spelljammer was because of nostalgia in the first place, incorporating those, you know, making that your decision to modernize second edition, it's a viable solution. But I just personally like how, like, as thin as the content is from Wizards of the Coast, I like everything that they're introducing. Like, the ideas that they have, like the core of it is like, it feels like they knew like what it could be. They just didn't have the opportunity to invest the amount of resources necessary to actually execute it properly. So I guess if I were to cast aside modesty, I would say the work that I'm doing with this project is where Wizards could go with stuff if they saw the value, like if they saw the value and potential of what it is. But I don't think they've honestly been able to invest the research and development time to recognize where that potential actually is, while I'm just some homebrew guy following a passion project that absolutely has the time to be able to invest to see where these things can go. And so as a result, I can hold my beer. I have the bandwidth. It's a passion project. It's a side hustle. It's just, I don't have money involved with it. I'm not taking any risk other than investing time. And that's kind of where, small fries kind of play into the whole situation. Like, we can afford to take the risks to develop the things that the larger corporation just can't gamble on, because the production, just the costs involved with being wrong are just too much. So they aren't trying to lead the way. They're just trying to build a framework that allows brewers to be able to build out, to take the ball and run with it, as it were. So, anyway. One of my players expressed interest in DMing, and since she's big on grand scale kingdom stuff, I've been trying to point her in your content's direction. Fantastic. It is a hot mess right now. So her trying to suss through what the mechanics are for the playtest content that we have out there is it might be a heavier lift than she's wanting to take to be able to make logic leaps. I introduce a lot of concepts and I don't introduce them well. But Durzazad has been using started using my Guild and Kingdom mechanics for developing resources for an underground community in Princes of the Apocalypse. So he's been really providing some great feedback on that stuff. And if she's into that stuff and she wants to go in that direction, I am absolutely open to investing time in getting feedback from her if that's something she decides she wants to do. So, but that'll be once we get done with this. I think I'm going to put armies. I think I'll be combining, like, in command of armies and kingdoms, maybe. Going that path. I don't think it may just be more valuable for me to combine them into the same document of, anyway, whatever. Yeah, this here is off now. Like, this whole curvature is changed. So I need to go back through and change this S-curve here. But yeah, this guy's coming along. I just gotta, yeah. There's some cleanup that needs to happen here, but this is a cool pic. This suddenly turned into a very, very cool picture. But yeah, thanks for pointing it out, man. That is going to absolutely be a home run of a product when the Armies and Kingdoms comes out. I don't know if that's the proper title or not. Armies, Guilds. I wanted it to be Armies, Guilds, and Kingdoms because it sounds nice. But there's as Odd pointed out, there's so little difference between how guilds and kingdoms operate that it doesn't necessarily help the narrative to separate them. Just make it a unified mechanic that can be expressed as a guild that doesn't have structures and a kingdom which is built of structures. So, but once this is off the plate, that'll become our focus, and we'll be able to invest a lot of time in developing that out and making it right, and doing this whole process with that, and then of course fixing Dragonlance with those mechanics. And then once that's done, we can go into Avernus and build out that resource campaign for running El Terrell as a base of operations in the Blood War. So, but hey, we're done for the day. So this is turning out to be really super sick. I am stoked that we are at this place. We will be back. This is Friday, so we're going to be back tomorrow morning. In about 25 hours, and we'll start doing layouts. So we're just gonna mess around with text and Word. I don't know how well it's gonna go. I don't know what to expect. Layouts are always a thing, and I've never broken ground on layouts on stream before, so this will be new for me. Any lurkers out there, like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at Phil Kearney if you want to keep track of where we're at and what's next. And I'm going to sign off for the day. So Renetico, thanks a lot for hanging out with me, my man. Hit save, and that's it. So I'll see you guys on the other side. Thanks a lot.